And what's up, everybody? We're back with episode number 8 of the Talkin' NASCAR podcast. I got my camera working today, and I'm back with Hitmaster and Jackson. So, hey, guys.
Hello.
We got a lot of stuff to talk about. This is take 2 of the podcast this week. We had some problems with the last night. But we're back again. We're talking about Kansas, everything that happened there. Some other updates of some situations. Some big off-track, couple big off-track developments. A big announcement that happened just a few hours ago. Time of recording this, we're going to talk about. And then at the end, we will preview Bristol. And I'll actually already be on the way to Bristol at the time this podcast goes live. So that'll be pretty exciting. I'm not going to talk about it. I talked about it last night. I did a whole rant about it, but tonight, for the actual podcast, I'm not going to rant too much on it for your guys' sake. But the next episode, we'll spend a whole next episode basically talking about, I'll talk about my entire experience. So that'll be a very me-focused episode, talking about my entire experience. But I'll also be vlogging it, and there'll be a racetrack review and maybe some other content from there, depending on what there is. So. But that's next week. Let's talk about this week. I do have a couple of announcements to make. The first is old news by now, but I did get COVID for the first time. It didn't hit me that
Holy
hard.
Crap.
And
Tyler,
what?
did you see Ken Palm's ratings?
No, I don't look at Ken Palm's rankings. I think
Gonzaga was number 1.
I think we got my statistics on my thoughts on Ken Palm are not are already pretty prominently stated.
Michigan State was 42nd. Oh my God.
But anyways, yeah, we meant to talk about this last night. I did test positive for COVID. It didn't hit me that hard compared to other people. I mean, it hit me hard in my relativeness for getting sick, but it didn't hurt. It hit my mom harder than it hit me. But it's clear out of my system, and barring my dad doesn't test positive, we're going to be good for Bristol. So that should be fine. And the other, so nothing too worried about that, but it did kiss my ass. I did say 2.5 years ago, basically. Now I told it to kiss my ass, and it finally did. So that kind of sucks. But after tomorrow, I will not have to wear a mask anymore, and I'll be done. So another thing, I do want to crack open a new drink that I found at Meijer on the podcast.
Oh my God. Who the hell?
Black Cherry Vernors.
Wow. That's interesting.
Hitmaster, are you with us? Can you hear us? He's not with us.
He may be having the problem you had.
Is he... Oh, he just went muted. Oh, is he back?
Wow. That's weird looking. It's red. So, it's red.
What?
The soda.
I haven't actually cracked it open yet. I'm going to wait for Hitmaster to get back. We're going to crack this live on the podcast. I found it at Meijer. When I also went to go get 2022 really Voodoo in the 12-pack. Finally, that's my collection. So that's pretty cool. And I thought, we're filming the podcast episode tonight. Might as well try this out.
Did you guys hear me?
Oh, yep. We're good.
All right. We're good.
So, Tyler, this Vernors Black Cherry. This is actually the first flavor variation for Vernors in decades, and it's exclusively in Michigan and Toledo.
Wonderful. Well,
so stop the laws.
So let's crack it.
My God.
I don't think I've ever actually had Vernors, which is a pretty big crime, seeing I live in Michigan.
Don't worry, I hate Vernors.
But we're gonna give it a. Ooh, hold on. Fuck. Okay. It smells
You've
pretty
already
good.
messed it up.
Wow, that's actually pretty good. Doesn't really. I can't really taste the ginger ale part, but I can definitely taste the black cherry, and it's really good. Good drink. Anyway, all that out of the way. let's get down into NASCAR stuff. So Kansas is in the books, the second race of the playoffs. We saw some drivers have some issues, mainly Tyler Reddick and Kevin Harvick.
Playoff contenders.
Harvick is the only driver that is now in a must-win situation. I don't know, Jackson, do you want to read back the standings going into Bristol?
Sure.
Real quick. I know you posted it somewhere.
So, here is the cut line as they stand. And I will also, later I'll talk about the Xfinity Series points because that is very wild.
Yeah, we'll get to that a little bit later. Got that on the list.
So, I'm getting the circle. Okay. So.
Ding, ding,
Okay,
ding,
so
ding.
Christopher Bell is locked in, plus 58. William Byron is in second, plus 48. Denny Hamlin third, plus 47. Joey Logano is fourth, plus 40. Ryan Blaney fifth, plus 36. Alex Bowman is sixth, plus 30. Chase Elliott is seventh, plus 28. Kyle Larson is eighth, plus 27. Ross Chastain is ninth, plus 26. And here's where I would consider the bubble. Daniel Suarez in 10th, plus 6. Tyler Reddick 11th, plus 2. Austin Cindric is 12th, plus 2. Then you have the cutoff. Kyle Busch 13th, minus 2. Austin Dillon 14th, minus 3. Chase Briscoe 15th, minus 9. And Kevin Harvick minus 35 in 16th.
It's a pretty tight bubble between like Suarez and
between Suarez and Briscoe, it's pretty tight.
And with a track like Bristol, you know, you're going to have a lot of shuffling in the standings. I think a lot of drivers are going to lock themselves in the first stage on Saturday. But I think after that, we're going to see drivers either fall out of contention or whatever. But like Harvick's in a must-win scenario. We'll talk about Bristol at the end, see who's really got a shot, who we think is going to get eliminated. But that should be really, really interesting because, I mean, Tyler Reddick, despite his wreck, still above the cut line. We saw Alex Bowman have a really good run to get himself a buffer. You know, Bell had a really good run and locked himself in, which is surprising. I didn't expect Bell to be the first driver to lock his way in. That's pretty crazy. And then
He's been the most consistent of the JGR drivers, so.
That's true. Then we got our winner, not even a playoff driver again. Fucking Bubba Wallace wins in the 45 car. So he swept Kansas. Like, freaking crazy. So, and then he becomes the 18th different winner in this season. I think, Jackson, you said that is a record?
A record for the amount of races. There's never been 18 winners in 28 races.
That's insane. Insane. And then he's also... Oh, keep going.
Again, Ryan Blaney and Martin Truex haven't won yet.
Yeah.
So, and one of them's going to win.
I feel like it's going to be Truex. He should have won Darlington. He came really close. And he did okay at Kansas. So, we'll see what he does at Bristol, though.
What is that in the background?
From Hitmaster, not me.
Okay.
But
wait, what?
I don't know. Jackson heard something. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, he's the 24th different driver to lock his way into my fictional New Year's Eve Spectacular race. And since, even though Kurt Busch is locked in with the 45 and Bubba Wallace won with the 45, I'm putting Bubba Wallace in the 23 simply because he's only running the 45 for owner's points. So that's pretty interesting, which is, so 2022 now ties 2007 for second most largest field of all time in that regard. So that's pretty awesome. But overall, I mean, I thought this was a pretty good Kansas race. The first half was a lot of wrecks, a lot of cautions. Second half was all green with pit strategy and and Bubba legitimately got the win. So that was, more than we could say when he last won a race. But now he has a legitimate win to his name, so that's pretty cool.
There's a lot of people that come into my work that have been pissed about Bubba Wallace winning that race so badly, including my dad. He hates it.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't mind Bubba Wallace, but I think he's a little overrated as a driver. I don't mind him as like a person. I think he hasn't done really anything to antagonize anybody, but I think NASCAR just sees a lot of dollar signs alongside of him, and so they market him and promote him as more of a driver than he really is. So, but overall, I don't know if you guys got any thoughts about the race, but I thought overall it was a pretty decent Kansas race, for Kansas standards at least. But I think we can. Have you got any lasting thoughts on that?
Not really. It was an okay race. Nothing too special, personally.
Yeah. I also realized that the last time they were at Kansas, Kurt Busch won the race.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So both 45 cars won that race, but with different drivers.
It's just crazy. I feel like Kurt would have won had he not crashed at Pocono.
I think he would have, too. I think I that was probably his car.
Probably.
So
he would have moved on and everything. That would have been insane. We'll throw Kansas to the wayside. Move on. Got 8 races left in the season. So let's talk about some other stuff that happened. Jax, you want to talk about the Xfinity situation, Xfinity Series?
Okay, so Jeremy Clements won his appeal, which means the entire playoff field has been screwed up.
So he got the win back from Daytona?
He got his win back. So he is now in the playoffs.
Huh.
I think this is actually at 1 or 2 races left. I don't remember, but Sam Mayer is 100 points ahead in 8th. I'm going to stop talking because there's something in the background that's annoying the crap out of me.
Yeah, Master, is that coming from you?
It's probably coming from my Switch. I'll stop.
Anyway.
Continue.
Daniel Hemrick is 10th. Riley Herbst. Hold on one sec. Let me look. It's screwed up. So Daniel Hemrick, and then Riley Herbst and Landon Castle. So Mayer's plus 100. Riley Herbst is plus 95. I think they're fine. Hemrick is plus 37. He's got a little bit to worry about. But Landon Castle is the last car in, plus 19. Then it's Ryan Sieg minus 19. And Sheldon Creed minus 32. Not quite must-win situations, but it's not as tight as it was before the appeal was won. So,
that's crazy.
There you have it.
Should it have been appealed, or should it have? I mean,
if they won it, then they. When's the last time you saw someone win an appeal?
I don't think that's ever happened in the time that we've been really tracking them.
So yeah,
I don't know. Maybe it's the rulings are different for the Xfinity Series. I don't know, because usually we see these kind of things happen in the Cup Series. But I don't know. It's pretty crazy that he even won it. But I mean, maybe it's justified. I personally haven't. I don't check in on the Xfinity Series as much as I want to. I probably should, but pretty interesting situation though. Kind of shakes up the whole field thing. So that'll be interesting come playoff time. See who's out, who's in, based on what happens there. Another thing that happened regarding past races, NASCAR responded to Kevin Harvick about the debacle that Harvick kind of shat on NASCAR about the engine situation going on, mainly with the Fords, after his issue at Darlington. And NASCAR responded with that. I don't quite remember what they said. I think they kind of just took a de-escalation situation to it and kind of said, okay, you know, we feel bad. Well, I don't know if they even said they feel bad. They probably did. But
Never feels bad about drivers. I mean, look at what happened with Kurt Busch and everything. They don't care about him.
Yeah, that's kind of the point that Harvick was trying to convey.
That's true. That's true. But it seems like, you know, they're obviously going to probably... I mean, the whole situation, like we saw at Kansas, we didn't really see a lot of engine issues. We saw more blown tires, which is another whole thing that they've been needing to work on all season. And there's engine issues, and another thing they're going to have to work on as well as the safety of the cars. I think they're going to be put on no pun intended, put on the hot seat in the off season to try and fix these problems. I think mainly with the safety of the cars, and which will come down to then fixing the engines and then probably the tires. You can fix the tires by just putting inner liners back on them, but the other two are going to be a little harder to fix in my opinion. But parts are easy to come by right now because of inflation, so that might be a reason that parts been a little bit cheaper, as Harvick said pretty blatantly in that interview. So, you know, maybe that's a thing that will come upon that. But no, nothing new arose from that with Kansas. So hopefully something does arise at Bristol. Make sure to let you know. But hopefully nothing does. Hopefully everybody stays safe, and hopefully Bristol is just full of legitimate racing, fighting for the position, and not like banking on mechanical failures to get in or not get in. So, and then so moving on to the IndyCar season, we'll touch on this just a little bit because this is a NASCAR podcast. But the IndyCar season finale was Sunday. I don't know, Jackson, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So Alex Palou, who of course has best been known this year for being for the contract controversy between McLaren and Ganassi, he won the finale. I have no clue if that means anything for his future. But one thing I do know is that Will Power, who right before the race broke the pole record that Mario Andretti set back in the early 90s, and Power the next day finished second in the race and won the championship. He had a very Matt Kenseth-like season, just one win, but a lot of podiums. Whereas the driver who finished runner-up, Power's teammate Joseph Newgarden, won 5 races and over $1 million due to promotion that IndyCar was doing. If you can win on a oval, a street course, and a road course, you win $1 million. And Newgarden did that. However, Newgarden was ridiculously inconsistent. But yeah, that's the gist of it.
Yeah, so congratulations, Will Power. Pretty cool. I saw him win in Detroit back in 2016. That was a pretty awesome experience. Sebastian Bourdais won the other race that weekend, believe it or not. But
I mean, he's called the king of the street courses.
Yeah, but yeah, well, but so congratulations to Will Power. The IndyCar season is in the books, and move on from that. But now to one of the bigger things this week, at least up until today. This was the biggest news piece of the week. The All-Star race for 2023 is gonna be good. North Wilkesboro is hosting the 2023 All-Star race. No more Texas. Wilkesboro's back. Oh my God.
Praise God.
This is...
No more Texas.
Thank God. I think... Here's the thing, alright? This race is gonna be amazing just because it's no Texas. That's the only reason why it's even gonna be good. Wilkesboro, I don't even know if it'd be a really that good of a race to begin with. But I think it's because North Wilkesboro is coming back. It's not Texas. It's a back to basics roots. This is gonna be an amazing race. And if you actually get tickets to go, which I bet the minute they start selling tickets, they're gonna be sold out. If you get a chance to go, that would just be once in a lifetime experience. Especially if you went to like the last race they had there prior to its closure, and then went to this one. How crazy would that be? It's like 30-something years, almost 30 years between, and you get to go back. It'd be crazy. I mean, tickets are going to sell out. It does mean, though, since they are going to start hosting cup races there, they were planning on doing dirt races at North Wilkesboro, but those are being canceled. I actually think all racing there is being canceled for a while because they're going to tear out the old pavement and put in, repave the whole thing so that it's ready to go. So hopefully that doesn't have too big of a financial impact on this track, but I think the ticket sales and just the hype around it is going to be enough to do that. But I don't know, what are your guys' thoughts on this? This is insane.
I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, just
Yeah.
to see Chase Elliott back on the track, that I think there's a famous picture of Dale Earnhardt holding him as a little kid. Like, now he gets to race on the same track his dad raced at and Earnhardt raced at. So it's like,
What the fuck does that have to do with Earnhardt?
I don't know. I just am happy that it's back. Long story short.
It's okay,
Yeah.
Headmaster. We're all happy that it's back.
Yeah.
I know it's.
This will
I brought that out of
I
nowhere.
just think Chase Elliott's fan base is so weird.
Why?
Hey,
You're
They
talking
worship
to
him
two
like
of
a
them.
deity.
You're talking to two of them right now.
Frankly, you guys worship him like he's a deity.
Okay,
There's a video
To be
that
fair,
I
I
put
don't
on my
worship him.
Instagram story of this crazy person going, "Who's winning? Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott is," and just keeps repeating it over and over and over again. And I'm just like, I
To be
can't
honest,
tell if this is satire or not.
I mean, recently I've been just making Haley Deegan my god.
Goddess.
To be honest.
Now you
Yeah,
sound
but-
like a creep.
Yeah, kind of.
Hey.
I'm standing alone, okay?
We may be Chase Elliott fans, but at least we don't support a racist, okay?
Nothing is
No
said.
reaction. Absolutely no reaction. It's funny. It's big funny. But no, it's gonna be a great thing. This hopefully will open up the opportunities for. I know they've been really pushing. NASCAR's been pushing to want to go back to the fairgrounds. Hopefully that gets some big push now that they're going to North Wilkesboro, get the fairgrounds going, and hopefully sooner rather than later, maybe get a return to Rockingham. I know they've been doing a lot of work on the Rock over the last few years, pre-COVID mostly, but I think they're trying to get it back going last year. So hopefully that gets a little bit of a push, and I know that would bring 3 cup dates into North Carolina, but they already do like 4 in Virginia, so not really that different. And they do like 10 in Florida and like California and shit too, so it wouldn't be too big of a difference, but that'd be pretty cool. So we'll see how this goes back, but I really want to go too, when I know tickets are just going to be stupidly expensive, but what do you do? So that's why you just go to Michigan every year.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. There was the new NASCAR shows on USA Network have been in full swing. We got Austin Dillon's Life in the Fast Lane, which I think is just so stupid. You could have picked literally anybody else to do a show on in NASCAR, and it probably would be better than Austin Dillon. You could have picked anybody. You could have done an older guy like Kevin Harvick. You could have done
True.
Joey Logano. You could have done Chase
Ew.
Elliott. You could have done Kyle Larson. That would have been pretty interesting. You could have done
No.
Ryan Blaney and his smoking hot Hooters wife. You could have done literally anybody else, but you pick Austin Dillon of all people.
To be honest, I didn't even know Ryan Blaney had a fucking wife.
Girlfriend.
Okay.
She won a Hooters contest, and
And then Blaney said, "Aha, you are the one."
Blaney was a judge at that, which is hilarious.
Oh God.
Funny. That is funny.
And Blaney's the MILF hunter. Like all the MILFs like Blaney.
What? Excuse me? How do you know this?
He's like Casey Kane.
Casey Kane? What?
Do you not remember that Allstate commercial with the lady cop?
Well, I'm surprised that
Player
Ryan
hits to
Blaney
the right.
was. Surprised Ryan Blaney was the judge since he doesn't even sponsor Hooters.
I don't think they would get their corporate
He
sponsor
and Elliot
to
are
rate
best
girls.
friends, so
Yeah, that's
True, yeah.
I want to go back. Casey Kane is a MILF hunter. What?
He's like, wait.
no.
Let's stop this
Let me
real quick.
rephrase that. MILF magnet.
Because I know there was a bunch of commercials, and like he was a big thing where he was like, you know, one of the popular, like the girls liked him because he was cute. I didn't think so. I thought he looked more like a girl than anything. But so maybe all those girls that liked him were lesbians. Who knows?
Hold up.
But
That's
I
odd.
never saw Kane as a MILF magnet. I don't see Ryan Blaney as that either.
I mean, you got Jamie McMurray too.
Now, Jamie McMurray
That's true.
is a sponsor magnet, just like AJ
That-
Allmendinger.
All the men and women at college racing.
That's what that is. Though, I mean, how much did Richard Childress cough up out of his bank account to give Austin Dillon a show? Like, there's no way that USA Network, NBC, or USA, or whoever concocted this contraption together thought this was a great idea. Let's stick Austin Dillon on a TV show. Who thought that was a good idea?
When we talk about the Kyle Busch situation, I need to say something about that too.
I feel like it could be. I do hope this is more like can be like Hard Knocks, where they go through like driver by driver. So maybe start with Austin Dillon and then do other drivers. That'd be pretty cool.
Especially when they get to Kyle Busch, because then they'll talk about him and his son.
Oh my god. And then there's another show called is it called Race for the Championship? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Race for the Championship. They're doing a bunch of that's more. I feel like that's more of a general Hard Knocks for all of NASCAR.
Yes, it is.
I haven't actually watched either of the shows yet. I've only seen the promotional material, so I can only comment on how they look, not how the shows actually are. But maybe if I'm bored, maybe I'll get around to watching some of them. Who knows? The USA is really going all in with this NASCAR content, which on paper is a good thing. But then you see who they do shows and stuff on. And
You got
realize they're blowing
WWE,
it.
you got all these stuff on USA and everything. It's just
Yeah.
they're putting more on their plate.
I don't know. I mean, what else are you going to watch in USA most of the time? Besides NASCAR stuff. The Olympics, that's like every 4 years. Really every 2, but, you know, give or take. It's that, I think, however, if they continue with this and expand it on, I think it'll be good. I think it'll give a lot of good exposure, especially if they can move some of it over to the NBC network or some other networks and run stuff there. I think it'll be pretty good. So we're going to do a little bit of a segueing thing in here. So Dale Jr. and Kyle Busch were doing some weird things on Twitter earlier this week. I don't know exactly what that was all about. They were
I
kind
love it though.
I thought they were all like drunk. They looked both of them like drunk, but it's got started because Dale Jr. leaked a claim that Kyle Busch was going to the 8 car for RCR, and guess what, folks? It's happening.
Do we know it's the 8 though?
Yes.
Because that's what I was gonna.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
From what I heard from one of the guys that I know, he said that Busch is gonna go to the 3 car, and Reddick's gonna stay in.
Not going to the 3.
And I was like, yeah, that's not correct. Tyler Reddick's going to what 2311 next year.
Oh, that's not right either.
No. So
You're
what's happening?
Stupid.
So what happened is Kyle Busch is going to be in the 8 car next year. Tyler Reddick's going to go into a 3rd charter for Childress, only for 2023, before he goes to 2311 and 2024. And then Austin Dillon is staying in the 3 car. And I don't remember what else. I think there was something else.
Sponsorship will be announced at a later date, but very soon. And it's lined up. It's lined up. It's not like it hasn't been. It's not final. It is final. It's just it just needs to be announced.
Is Reddick going to keep the sponsors he currently has when he goes?
I'm pretty sure he is. Because most of those sponsors, he kind of found himself, like
True.
Lenovo and Cheddar's. They weren't involved in NASCAR before him.
That is true. So I would hope he keeps.
And those are big sponsors.
The question is, who's Kyle Busch going to bring over as a sponsor?
Well, he's the highest paid NASCAR driver, so it'll be a big sponsor, or a well-known sponsor. I remember originally, when he was going to stay with JGR, Oracle was going to sponsor him.
Huh. That's interesting.
And they're the primary sponsor of the Red Bull F1 team. So.
I mean, yeah, because we're not even going to be getting M&Ms, Interstate Batteries. I don't think they'll come over because they've been.
No, they are not going to come over.
Because they've been
with JGR since 1992.
They've been with the 18 car since
1992.
Yeah, since the beginning of Joe Gibbs. So they're not gonna go anywhere. And who else is left? I mean, as sponsors that Kyle Busch still is gonna have, like
Hershey's,
Wrangler.
The Wrangler car was right next to them, so
that was more just a symbol to say, yeah, we're going to RCR.
Yeah.
And glorifying RCR's good days when they had Dale Earnhardt. I'm just reading some of the claims, some of the predictions we talked about in the sports chat this morning when this was announced. You predicted that maybe Budweiser will come back to sponsor the 8 car. I find that
I did not. I just said, bro, what if? I didn't predict anything.
It would be cool to see Budweiser come back and sponsor the 8 car again. Personally, though, I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, it might happen. Now, just hear me out. It might happen after Harvick retires. Because you know, it's Anheuser-Busch, and they own Budweiser and Busch, so who knows?
I don't know. I feel like if Budweiser's going to come back, it's probably going to be Busch on the Busch car, which I think would be funny. So this also, you also said this is going to be what this also results in is that Kyle Busch Motorsports is going to switch from
they will
Toyota
be going to
Chevy.
Now the question mark is, how many trucks will there be? Will it be 1 truck? Will it be 2 trucks? Will it be 3 trucks? That's the big question mark.
How many are there right now?
3. The 4 for John Hunter Nemechek, the 18 for Chandler Smith, and the 51 for Corey Heim.
Okay. I think it'll stay at 3 trucks.
But yeah, but Corey Heim is a Toyota guy. So
Sure.
I think he's going to move up to. He's won 2 races, so he's going to move up to the Xfinity Series. I think. I don't know about Nemechek, and I think Chandler Smith is ready for the Xfinity Series too. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Now the other question is, what car is Reddick going to run next year for Childress and what charters? I personally think it'd be pretty cool they brought back the 29 and raced that for a year.
That's possible. Maybe the 33.
Yeah, because did they get that charter from? Because Penske used it last year for Cindric.
Yeah, but that was part time.
Right. So
I don't know.
So it could just get a little complicated if they're what am I trying to say? They're trying to use that. But 29 would be pretty cool. Maybe they'll bring back the 30 or the 31, or they'll unveil a whole new number just because it's really just a 1-year thing, because then Reddick's going over to 2311. So that'll be pretty awesome. But I found it funny because this is twice now. I sent the rumor that he was going to RCR and the official announcement that he was going to RCR. I sent both of those into the NASCAR Discord server, and the whole server just like freaked out, like they didn't know this was going on at all. And I was like, which I thought was really funny, because I send it like a half an hour after it actually got like announced, and you would think somebody in this server that has Garrett Smithley in it is going to, hear about this stuff and like formally like make an announcement, but I guess not. I don't know. I just find that pretty funny. So now I have a couple pinned messages in there, and people respect me. So not like on the college basketball server, but that's by design. So but this is anyway. Before I talk about my thoughts on this driver change, I'd like to hear your thoughts, guys, on thoughts about this. Kyle Busch moving over.
He didn't really have any other options, so.
Well, are we gonna miss him in the 18? Are we gonna?
I think it will be something you get used to, for sure.
Definitely will be. I agree.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure Ty Gibbs is getting that car. So.
It's all but confirmed that Ty Gibbs is going to get the 18. I think that was
the question is, what's sponsorship going to look like? Is Monster Energy, are they going to sponsor 2 cars?
On 2 different teams, even though they're aligned? I don't...
Well, they do that in the Xfinity Series.
Well, that's the Xfinity Series, though.
Yeah, I know. You never know.
That'd be interesting, but... I don't know, it'd be like that, there was that one race at Talladega about 10 years ago, where Bass Pro Shops sponsored both Ryan Newman and Jamie McMurray.
Yeah, but that wasn't a primary sponsor. Bass Pro Shops is this primary sponsor for Austin Dillon and Martin Truex. So
that is true. So it'll be quite interesting to see. I don't know what other sponsors could he bring up from the Xfinity Series.
JDL.
No, that's trucks.
Okay.
I know Interstate sponsors him in a few races, so.
Oh yeah,
but they already sponsored the 18.
He'll probably get the Interstate batteries. Forgot about that.
Yeah, so that'll be fine with that's 6 races. Cub Cadet. I know they sponsored a race.
Cub Cadet is with RCR, I thought. I think for the 3.
No.
They used to be.
No.
They used to be with Ryan Newman.
No.
Yeah, I remember him. Cub Cadet 31.
That was Caterpillar.
Yeah, well, yes, Caterpillar sponsored the 31, but no, there was a... I'm looking it up. Cub Cadet car. Not that. Cub Cadet. Why? Not cassette. Cadet. Oh. Well, now I get the Ty Gibbs images.
Yep.
Oh no, it's Oh, that's a fictional car. Let's say Ross Chastain has that sponsor. Okay, so they used to sponsor DEI back in the late 2000s.
I remember that. They sponsored, that was one of Eric Almirola's sponsors in 2009 before they ran out of sponsorship.
I swear. Okay, and they used to do some other Xfinity sponsorships back then too. But, yeah, I guess you're right. It does look like they've moved over to Ty Gibbs. Here, can we get this car back? Can we get that car back? The ass car? That was pretty cool. I have a diecast of that. I have that. I have a diecast of that. It's pretty worn down, but...
The what car?
Then, this... Where is it? Where the fuck is it? This one.
Oh, the ass. I don't think ass.com exists.
Bring it back. Anyway, for you guys to give a reference, this is what we're talking about when we talk about them sponsoring DEI. Was that was in 2009 they did that, and then this is what... This is their 2009 look.
Yep. And
then they...
and that's not DEI. That's Earnhardt Ganassi.
Well, the 8 car, same fucking thing. And then this was the Xfinity ones that they were doing. They did it for multiple different teams. And then this is what the Ty Gibbs one looks like. I think he ran it at Watkins Glen. So I'm going to bring that over. But yeah, I think sponsorship... I think, though, as they get in the car and they start, doing their thing and hopefully getting successful, there's some for fans say, hopefully getting successful, we'll definitely see sponsorships come back along and everything. Personally, though, like Jackson said, to me, it's going to get a little hard to get used to not seeing Kyle Busch in the 18, because he joined Gibbs all the way back in 2008. And if I am... No, he's won the most... Well, no, he tied Tony Stewart for most championships won with the team at 2. I think he was the longest tenured Gibbs driver ever. No, not ever. No, Denny Hamlin is. Unless it's Tony Stewart. No, it's not Tony Stewart.
No, it's Denny Hamlin.
It's definitely Denny Hamlin.
Stewart was 99 to 08. Denny Hamlin has been 06 to today.
I know. Denny Hamlin's been there forever, so I forgot about Denny Hamlin, as most of us probably want to forget about Denny Hamlin, but it's going to be weird. I loved the M&M's cars, in my opinion, always have looked good on the track all the way back when, Ken Schrader was doing them, and then Elliott Sadler, and then, of course, Kyle Busch. They always look good. Thought Kyle ran a lot of other good teams.
I'll be back.
And he's always been like, he's always been one of those more recognizable drivers in their number. Everybody's always done. He's always been in the 18. He's always been for Gibbs. I remember his days at Hendrick because I started watching NASCAR in like 2007. So I remember his days at Hendrick, but he wasn't very notable back then. It wasn't really until 2008 that people started recognizing him as a good driver. So it is going to be a little different. It's going to be a little... I'm going to have to look on it a lot because I'm going to Bristol, see him in the 18 for the last time. That's going to be pretty interesting to see him in a new car. A lot of people are worried, though, that his performance is going to take a massive hit because I think it's pretty widely known that Gibbs and RCR are not the same team performance-wise.
Oh, man. Tyler Reddick doesn't drive like it.
Yeah, but, get him in better equipment, and then he does so much better. There you go. I mean, RCR has been on a decline, in my opinion, for quite a while. Especially since Dale Earnhardt died, but really after like Kevin Harvick left in 2013, and they just really haven't been the same since. As far as like contending companies, so it'll be interesting to see, because fucking Richard Childress, and if it wasn't Richard Childress that said this, I would be even more pissed at the statement. But he said that he compares Kyle Busch to Dale Earnhardt. What? Excuse me?
Maybe talent, but no similarities, really.
Because it wasn't like he said he was comparing like their attitude to win, that kind of thing? Or am I mistaken?
Basically.
That's kind of bullshit. Like, what the fuck? Like, comparing Kyle Busch to Dale Earnhardt, like, yeah, they both got into fights, but like Dale Earnhardt actually like was like, you know, wasn't a crybaby about it. Hard nosed guy, you know, that kind of thing. So that was, but it was Richard Childress who was really close with Dale Earnhardt. So, you know, maybe I could see it there, but maybe he's just trying to promote Kyle Busch a little bit more. I know some people did some concept renderings of Goodwrench coming back to sponsor Kyle Busch in the 8 car because of RC's comments to that, which would be weird. I don't think they're ever coming back to sponsor a car unless it's like a retro throwback paint scheme, but not even that, probably. I don't know. And then the last big piece from that interview was that Childress Jackson, correct me on this if I'm wrong, but I think Childress guaranteed Kyle Busch's son a contract.
No. He said he gave him a contract option, which means if he has any other option, if he doesn't have any other options, he has an opportunity to one day drive for RCR in some capacity, whether that's in the Xfinity Series, the Cup Series, or the Truck Series, or ARCA, or whatever.
Here's the thing, right?
I think that's pretty cool, actually.
He's 10. You're banking too much on him, on Kyle Busch being good for your company. Like, here's the thing, right? He's 10. The earliest you're probably going to see him in, like, a top 3 level ride is probably going to be between 16 and 18. Childress could be dead by then. The company could be tanking. We don't know. So, because you know Kyle Busch is going to get paid. His sponsors are going to come along. But is it going to be kind of like what happened at Gibbs, where the sponsors duck out after a little bit, after some bad performance? Are they never going to come along because Kyle's not performing great? What's going to happen with other companies? I think that's just looking too far ahead and putting all your eggs in one basket. And banking on the fact that his son's even going to be remotely as good as Kyle Busch himself, which is also probably not true. No offense on, I don't even know what his name is. Braxton Busch. But like, yeah, I don't know. I think Childress is a little smarter than that sometimes. I don't know. He's put his grandson in one of the most iconic rides of all time and watched it go to shit without any care in the world. So maybe he has lost a few brain cells in his times since the glory days of RCR. But that's my thoughts on that. I don't know. You think guys? I know Jackson, you said it was pretty cool, but like, got any other thoughts on like that whole situation or whatever, or Hitmaster too? You know, any good thoughts on that?
I mean, I think it's going to be good for Busch, to be honest.
The reason I think it'll be good is because he probably saw what Tyler Reddick does in the 8, and he's like, oh, you know what? I can do that.
Probably.
I
Yeah.
can win a championship for this RCR team that hasn't seen the light of day.
Maybe.
I mean, not in the first season with them, but
Well, you doubt Kyle Busch too much, and he'll pull the cloth out from underneath you. I don't know why I made that statement, but
like Brad Keselowski said at Bristol, Kyle Busch is an ass.
Kyle Busch is an ass. Oh, that was top tier quote there. But anyway, I think that's all we got on the Kyle
You
Busch.
muted yourself.
Piss me off. Fucking Lucas is back trying to server mute me again. Anyway, I think we're done there with any lasting thoughts on the situation. Anything else? I don't think we really got.
Nope.
The one last little thing.
Bristol predictions.
We got one last little thing to touch on before we get to Bristol. Ty Dillon got a new crew chief. Jackson, you said that.
Yeah, Chad Norris, who was in I think an Xfinity Series winning crew chief, is the new crew chief for the 42, and frankly, they need that. The 42 has been off the pace compared to the 43 this year. So
that's an understatement.
Yeah.
Remember when we all thought he was going to win the Clash?
There was a moment where it looked like he would.
And then he hasn't been the same since. But honestly, if Austin Dillon isn't already overrated, I think Ty Dillon is too. How long has he been like RCR's and other teams like experimental driver? Hasn't it been like 10 years or something?
A while.
So only so long you can experiment on one guy. So, but who knows? Maybe this is the answer that they were looking for since 2012 or 2013. Only time will tell, I guess, if history doesn't mean anything. And I believe that's all we had for news this week. Any lasting things that you guys wanted to talk about that we didn't get to yet, other than talking about Bristol? Because that's all I had on my list.
No, that's about it.
Hey, Master, you got anything, or are we good to go to the final topic?
I don't have anything.
Alrighty. So we already talked about the playoff picture a little bit. Like we said, there's a pretty 10th through 15th is kind of where we need to be watching Saturday night. And I will be watching very intently because I plan on being there. Who are we thinking's not going to survive Bristol? Who are we thinking?
Harvick.
Yeah, it's tough to bet against that.
You said Cindric's one of the drivers that are in the -2. No, sorry. Cindric is one of those guys that need to do good. I believe Cindric will make it, and Busch will not. It'll be close. It'll be like that Martinsville situation where Harvick had to spin out Kyle Busch, but he failed.
That was a failing moment if I've ever seen one.
Then Suarez doesn't make it unless. Oh no, Suarez makes. Yeah.
I don't know.
It's either Suarez. Oh no, wait, Dillon's not going to make it. So I think it's not going to be. The people that are not going to make it are Harvick, Busch, Dillon, and Cindric.
If we have to pick my logistical four that I think are going to get eliminated, I think it's going to be Harvick. With the mechanical issues and the tire problems that he's been having, I can't see, and Jackson has left. Yay. That's just like a trademark thing now. He just leaves randomly. Anyway, I think my four to go would probably be Harvick. I can't see him getting the job done. Not because he doesn't have the skill to do it, but I don't think his equipment's going to let him. I also don't see Austin Cindric moving on. Honestly, I don't see Chase Briscoe moving on. And with this news about Kyle Busch, I honestly don't see him moving on either. Simply because I just don't think he's going to care enough to win another championship for Joe Gibbs when he's about to leave them. And I just don't think there's going to be enough effort put in. I just think, there's going to be so much focus diverted away from his ability on the track. I don't think it's anything he's going to do. It is only a 2-point difference, so he could squeak by into this next round, and then move on. But really, because anything really can happen at Bristol. We could see Suarez wreck. We could still see drivers like Chastain, Elliott, Larson. We could see them have early race issues, and they fall into that category too. Only person that's safe is Bell. So,
right,
be crazy.
So,
who do you think is going to win?
I want it to be Elliott, but I know that might not be it. To be honest, I'm going to go out with a limb here and say that Chastain wins the race.
Huh, interesting pick.
I'm going to go out with a limb here and say Chastain wins it, makes it to the round of 12, and then Byron gets in because he finishes second. So it's going to be a battle between Chastain and Byron.
That's an interesting prediction. I like it. So I'll give the 4 rundown. So Brian picked Kyle Busch. The pretty bold prediction. All things considered, back then, when we made these, it wasn't bold. But Chase Elliott, I have for Bristol. God, going to Bristol. Can I see Chase Elliott win? I'm trying to do all the voodoo magic that I have. I'm wearing a regular Chase Elliott shirt Friday on the way down. I'm wearing the Hooters shirt during the race Saturday. And I'm wearing his championship shirt on the way home. Is that not enough? And I'm going to bring the championship hat. Is that not enough voodoo luck to try and get him to win in front of me? That would be insane. And then after that, Jackson picked Kyle Larson. Also not a bad pick. My dad picked Kevin Harvick. It's hard to count Kevin Harvick out because he does seem to thrive in these clutch situations. But seeing all the mechanical issues that he's had, I just don't see it happening. But and as far as I already said who's going to get eliminated. I don't know. If there's anything you want me to report back to from Bristol, I'll try and find it all out. It's going to be crazy. I am so excited to go. Get maybe some die-casts, some cheap price at the retro tents, see what cool things there are to do. Hopefully meet some people, because a lot of the NASCAR YouTubers are based in that area, except for like Eric's the only one that really isn't. He's in Texas, but so maybe some of the other ones will be there. Maybe I'll get to see him. Maybe I'll get to meet him. I don't quite know. And then also just the track itself. It looks such like a cool facility. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, isn't Ed Soundhead in Michigan?
Who's that?
He's a NASCAR guy.
Ed
he doesn't
Soundhead?
talk about he doesn't talk about NASCAR, but he plays like NASCAR kind of stuff. But
I don't know. The ones I'm familiar with. Eric, obviously. Black Flags Matter. The Iceberg. Danny B Talks, I guess. Shoot, I can't even think of the other ones that I can. That's all I can think off the top of my head that be there. Like, especially like the Iceberg and Black Flags Matter, I think we'll definitely probably see there. Eric's probably unlikely. Though I wouldn't be surprised if I saw him there, because I would recognize him out of the blue because he's like 7 feet tall. But I don't know. I don't even know if I'd go up and say hi to them even if I was there. Like, I'd have so much else to worry about. We get 7.5 hours at the track. There's going to be The track opens at noon. The race until 7:30. So there's going to be all like the stuff that we normally see at a race, like MIS, the shopping haulers, all the festivals and stuff like that. And there's going to be the retro tents. There's going to probably be a bunch of other stuff that we don't even know about, that we're not even finding out about until we get there. There's going to be a Three Doors Down concert. We're going to try maybe go on the track and see that. That would be exciting. So I'm super excited. I know I'll sound a little selfish, but yes, I can't help it, because we've been waiting 8 months for this, so it's time to do it. So I cannot wait. But there will be the whole podcast next week will basically be talking about that. We'll obviously have to talk about who got eliminated, who made it. We'll talk about the race itself and a few other things. But hopefully nothing major comes up news-wise. I mean, a lot of the big things we've been talking about news-wise for a while, the Kurt Busch situation, the Kyle Busch situation, we got North Wilkesboro's coming back, and a few other things. So hopefully new major bombs outside of Bristol and everything are dropped. But we'll see. You know, I have to figure it out. But I think with that, we crossed the hour mark, which is good. So that, I think, is going to wrap it up for this episode of the Talkin' NASCAR podcast. For my final rating of the Black Cherry Verners from the beginning of the podcast, I'll probably have to give it a...
At a what? At a what?
Probably 8 out of 10. It's actually really good. If you've ever tried this, let me know. Michigan, fellow Michiganders or Toledo residents, let me know your thoughts about this. But thank you to Jackson for coming on while he was here. Thank you to Hitmaster for joining us tonight.
No problem.
And then we will catch you guys next week. And if you want early content from Bristol, you can watch the vlog. It's going to come out probably that Tuesday before. Also end up doing a racetrack review of Bristol, which will come out probably in January. And if I get diecasts, I will do diecast reviews, which will come out later on. But if I do get diecasts and any other merch that I get at Bristol, I will show off exclusively next week on the next week's episode of this podcast.
We could do. We honestly could just do. After we talk about the race, we could just look up our diecasts.
Yeah, we definitely need to do an episode talking about our diecast collections. I'm saving that. I would think that'd be a good off-season episode in case we want to fill out our collections anymore. But we could definitely talk about that, doing that maybe next week as well.
Yeah, because I'm going to be getting here on my next paycheck a Haley Deegan truck,
Nice.
and then the throwback scheme that William Byron did to Jeff Gordon.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm hoping I can see some good throwbacks. I don't know if you were here when I talked about this dream I had, where I went to Bristol. This was after we booked the tickets for Bristol. I went to Bristol and was in one of these like retro tents, whatever, right? And I saw Kevin Harvick's Gravedigger car for $5, and I saw a Mark Martin car from 2003 that never existed. The paint scheme never existed, but I saw that for $5 too. I know the deals will not be as good as that, but one can only hope, right?
Right.
But yeah, anyway, if any of you have ever been to Bristol, I'd love to hear your thoughts and stories about it in the comments while I'm driving down there, because I will be already on the road when this comes out. But anyways, stay tuned for next week's episode, and stay tuned for much more amazing content in between. And until next time, we will see you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye.